We've been responding to it. We've never owned it. We've been responding to what they've been calling us, not just as a singular, as an individual, but even as a collective. And then the producers, they like, yeah, I know it's not in you. You're not about that life, but I want you to portray that in front of these cameras. So when you reflect back on the painting that I did called The First Black Business, and you see the guy with the microphone, you can tie two and two together because we still selling each other out. We telling lies. So 3 minutes and 15 seconds, just basically in a simple term, is establishing the fact that black youth have misled other black youth in the name of a song. Think about how many black youth have hung out of windows and committed drive-bys because of hip-hop music. Girls done embraced them poles and gotten STDs and pregnant by a dude that ain't mine, or even murdered, abused, and all different, listen to certain kind of hip-hop music. Not just music produced by males, but even black women and Latina women who've perhaps come on board and produce that stripper type music, that nightclub kind of music. So 3 minutes and 15 seconds, it's done a lot. I'll give you another scenario. You have to raise the question, really, how do the world feel about hip hop when you think about like Kia, the car dealership, car manufacturer, who produced a commercial that used the Black Sheep beat. So I asked the question, what's the relationship between Kia and Black America now? Sprite had MC Shan and KRS-One in the middle of a ring battling each other. What's the relationship between Sprite and Black America or the hip hop community? So it's a lot of, people would say jobs were created off hip hop, but it was a whole lot of damage done. And there's a lot of people were not in control that we thought were in control. And because of that, hip hop had become somewhat of a mental drug. What crack did in the 80s, hip hop also implemented a disastrous outcome. Not only in the 80s, but even to this day now. You still have black youth and Latino youth fucking their lives up over a 3 minute and 15 second hip hop song. Here's a piece I call Broken Antenna. See, this is definitely an antenna. The more message behind this piece was what inspired me about this piece is that I had made it to a work facility. For those that don't know, because I was a male sex abuse survivor and like at the time a victim, I wanted to be the opposite of a victim, so I became an aggressive youth, very aggressive. And what sexual abuse taught me was to pretend that it didn't happen. Keep it to yourself, be silent. And I found myself later in life pretending that it didn't happen. But what that led to was pretending to be macho. Pretend, wear the big clothing, look mean. And when you pretend to be something for so long, you end up becoming that. So I became an aggressive youth, and that landed me in prison at the age of 19. And I was released at the age of 32. I'm now 46. But I had made it to a work camp, a work facility, and we were able to get jobs. And one of the jobs that I got, I was a kitchen helper. And the guy that owned that place, his name was Rick, and I'll say that. A restaurant owner. But this is not something that he started. It was something that he inherited. This started way before him. At some point, his father and grandfather were involved. And there was a conversation that come up where some black males were talking about how, white people, they owe us. White America, they owe us. And they was generalizing it, putting all white folk in the same category. Me, I questioned that. I said, so what makes you say that all of them are like responsible for our current and even past situation? It's because they white. That's what I was getting. They white. They people done it. If they didn't do it, they people done it. So my take on it was you have to connect the dots. And because I'm a person that's really out here living in real life, I said, well, And it's crazy how I would call it most people call it a revelation. And that's what I eventually started calling it. That something would just come to me, and it's like, man, I'm getting this revelation about something, or something has been revealed to me. And it dawned on me because I looked at Rick, and somebody had made a statement about Rick, because I wasn't the only African American male working for him. These crackers this, these crackers that. He got all this, he got all that. And it dawned on me. What came to mind was, it's about connecting the dots. Rick Cutts didn't start this. It was something that his peers started, his family. And what he did was he came on board as a youth and maintained it. When I hear black folk talk about reparations, they owe us, they owe us. You can't run around saying that everybody who is Caucasian owe you. And the scenario behind broken antenna is the equivalence of this. Let's say my daughter is in the street. She's playing catch ball with another youth. Or my son is. He catches the ball, he throws it back to the youth. That youth catches the ball, throws it back to my son. My son catches it, he throws it back to the youth. But he throws it over the youth's head, and it hits somebody's antenna and damages it. Although my son done it, I, as a parent, am in a financial position to fix what my son done. I get it. Africans were brought here and broken down and made to slaves. Every Caucasian in America who's successful cannot be held accountable for the marfa that black folk have experienced. What we have to do is connect the dots. You have remodeling companies right here who remodel. Multi-million-dollar company owned by a Caucasian. You can't say that what he has belongs to you, because it could be something that his great uncle or grandfather or even father or uncle started, and he or she had to maintain it. So when I look at the broken antenna, I didn't do it. My son threw it, and it damaged that antenna. However, I'm in a financial position to fix what was broken. The question is, who existed during the era of slavery that still exists now? Perhaps York Life Insurance. Slaves were insured. So you would have to take in consideration, okay, York Life was in existence. What insurance companies existed back then that exist right now who insured slaves back? That's who you want to connect with. What steel companies, what brick mason companies that existed back then that exists now? But anything that was built from a family, I don't give a damn. They pull up on a stretch Bugatti. If it's something that was built from an uncle, a grandfather, father, an auntie, a grandmother, that's theirs. You can't run around pointing out successful wealth that belongs to Caucasian. That's ours. No. What I have to do as a father is say, you know what? My son threw the ball. It went over the other child's head. It damaged it. I'm going to fix it. You don't look for that other child parent to fix it. Yeah, he was engaged in play, but it was my child. So you connect my child with me. You would connect slavery, steel companies, insurance companies. That's who you connect with. You don't run around picking out any and every Caucasian saying, your white ass, your cracker ass OS. So that's where broken antenna come from. You have to connect the dot.